that I did this twice, and one of those times was a mistake. I had a friend from the city, from New York City, who's a runner. She runs a lot, and she runs like your usual 10 miles. And she goes, "Oh, yeah, we can do it. I run 10 miles and it's fine." I did Giant and Rocky with her. That was way too much for her.
Hmm.
So we shouldn't confuse fitness with high peak fitness. It's completely different. Like going up on the hill,
Yeah,
it's very different than running on a road.
it very much is.
It very different. So it's important to have a conversation with your friend, and maybe it starts small, and maybe go on something else that's not a high peak to kind of see how you guys hike together. To then bring that friend to, because it was kind of traumatizing for my friend. She was very difficult, and she's a toughie. She's an athlete, and it was humbling for me to see. It's a very unique kind of conditioning, the one that we get. And when you finish your journey, you realize what kind of hiker you are. Like one of my great hiking partners, Ashley, who did a lot of the hikes with me, and she's been on those funny videos that I posted, the music videos. She's great on the up, and I wasn't fast on the ascent until much later. Now I can do ascent. She's still way faster than me on the ascents, but on the descents, when people get nervous about falling, I just run. I love going down,
I am the
and I go down
exact opposite.
fast.
I am that person who is worried about falling going down. I am super slow going down. I am I'm not afraid to admit that. I find I just can't go faster. I just can't go
And I'm the
faster.
huffer and puffer on the way up.
I want to also touch on or emphasize how you mentioned hiking smaller peaks throughout your high peaks journey. I can't recommend that enough. The Adirondacks in particular just has so much to offer all over the park. You don't have to just be hiking in the high peaks. There's so many little guys you could go tackle, and that give you a whole other experience with a lot less wear and tear on the body, and it's a great experience. And just like you said, if you want to bring someone up, you're doing this, people are kind of curious about what is it that you're doing. Well, you could go hike Mount Joe and give someone like a little piece of it without taking their soul, like it sounded like you did to your friend on Giant. I think there's just so many places
I
like that
did.
that you can do. And it's also funny too, I mention this all the time, that a hiking shape is different than regular shape, and I think a lot of that too is the mental element. It's like I've said it multiple times on this podcast, on various episodes. I'll take someone who's hiked in the mountains on here in the Northeast over anyone who's fit any day, because like there's like a mental aspect to it that they
That
know
is
what to
so true,
expect.
James.
They know what to
That is
expect.
so true.
I remember, I think last summer, my sister-in-law, who Josh, everyone knows Josh on this podcast, his wife, they went out to hike Cliff and Redfield, and they were going to camp and then do Marshall the next day and come back. And she hadn't hiked since they finished their 46er journey, which is like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And, she keeps in just fine shape. She's not, a fitness person by any means, but she crushed all 3 of them. And I think, it was no problem. Yeah, obviously it's a big day and, you're tired, but she was just multiple years since hiking. And then she went out and crushed all 3, no problem. And I think that is because the mental element of knowing what hiking is, I think, plays an enormous role, to know what to expect, what it feels like, versus someone like your friend who is, can run 10 miles, no problem. Suddenly this is just a whole other animal. And it's exactly what you said. It's very unique all to itself. Which is why also too, I always
And
say people should start on smaller mountains and work your way up, because you'll gain that mental element that you need to gain.
yeah, and people would tell me, "Oh, go to the Catskills, try it out there," and I'll get annoyed. I'm like, "No, I want to go there," and I should have, and I think Catskills is 100% a great place to get your bearings, to really develop yourself as a hiker. Before, if you come from the south, like from Westchester, from New York City, from New Jersey, it's nice to spend some time there. What I'm doing now retroactively. I'm going to the Catskills a lot to get my the 35 picks there. But I'm using the Catskills now for me to learn my map and compass. I
Great,
know the
great.
basics of it, but I don't really know it fully. So I want to finish my journey at the Catskills, accomplishing that skill set.
That's
So
great.
I'm going slowly because that is the goal. The goal is not to finish. The goal is to finish learning
Sure, sure.
how to be a fantastic
And and
navigator.
and it's great just getting outside anywhere. No matter where you are, it's fantastic to get outside. And the Catskills are great. I've hiked there. It's an awesome spot. It's it's different, but it's similar but different. It has its own unique vibe altogether, which is great.
Yeah, the Devil's Path is no joke. It's kind of fun.
Certainly.
It brings you some memories from like some of the bad boys
Sure.
for sure.
And you
I'm like, gave me some Blake vibes. It gave me some
yeah.
Gray vibes.
Oh, perfect. Now, when you are doing your map and compass, when you're there, highly recommend to let that information and what you're doing just constantly go through your brain. Map and compass is very much if you don't use it, you lose it type of a skill. So I highly recommend just constantly hammering, how to do everything you're looking to do and what you're looking to learn as you go through your journey in the Catskills over there. Now, let's switch gears
No,
a
no,
little
for
bit
sure.
real quick. Oh yeah,
One
continue.
thing, just to finish.
Yes,
It's something that you don't know that I'm going to tell you right now. So this
exciting.
journey, you said, how did it transform my life? It transformed my life so much now, James, that my husband and I decided that we have found so much joy in being in nature as a family that we completely scratched our life plans and we changed it. Where we were thinking about retiring, where we were thinking about buying a house. So we actually buying a house in the mountains now,
That's
and
great.
switching our whole plan from there. So it completely transformed my life. And now when I go back at the end of the year, I go back to the city, to the office. I was able to find my bearings, find a sense of happiness that led me to finding a new career, and I became head of innovation for Estée Lauder, the beauty group, and like learning how to be an employee, not to be a tech founder, and finding peace in all of that, and now how to juggle being a hiker, having my moments of silence by myself, sharing moments with my friends, being with my family, and being at my job. How can you have a healthy equation of all of that and not overdo any of it? Not overdo work, right? Not overdo hiking, and that has been what I've learned, and that's the gift that the 46er batch gave me.
That's so exciting to hear. I hear that, and I just think I am so excited to hear that. Dude, these mountains, man, they have that effect on people, and there's just something about it. Obviously, I do a podcast about it. I travel 5.5 hours each way back to New York City to go to work because this is where I want to live, and more importantly, this is where I want to play. There's just something about them, and when I hear other people that have had that same effect on them from the mountains, it just continues to confirm that there's this magical quality that the high peaks possess, and you're a prime example of that. It is exciting to
If
hear.
listen, not to get hippie here on you, but it's just common sense, right? If you believe that nature is life and life is energy, when you expose, like when people give you certain situations, certain places, it just makes you feel bad or heavy or negative or tired. Other places makes you feel happy and energetic and renewed. So it's just we already know innately. We know that these things are true, and sometimes we just forget to use these lessons that we are born with. That's pretty much what it is. And talking about lessons, I started journaling in the group, right, in the 46er Facebook group,
Mm-hmm.
lessons from some of the most difficult hikes, and I faced some pretty interesting situations. So I would create those lists and share the lessons with the communities. Like if you search lessons from, you end up seeing my posts. So if you search my name, you see them. That has been really funny. And the most popular lesson that I posted that I got the most engagement, I think that post got like 500 likes. It was kind of crazy. I know that some posts get 1,000, but for especially if it includes babies and very cute pine martens. But my most popular post was about a winter hike. And as a woman, one of the first challenges that I found, it was my first winter hike, was Dick's. And there was a moment that I needed to go pee pee. And it was really freaking cold. I'm brown, I'm Latina. So 18 degrees is like death. It's like, no, you just don't go out at all, and let alone hike in it. So when you go pee, James,
sure,
you just do your thing. You don't take your pants off. I have to take my pants off.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of cold going on. Your body temperature really goes right. So I found this thing on Amazon that's called Pee Style, and then I decided to try it out. And I tried it out, and I peed like a man. And I can't describe to you because you will never know.
Did it work out though?
That feeling, it was incredible. I'm like,
so glad to hear.
Oh my God, that's what it's like. So I posted that pee like a man post, and people were nuts about it. It was really cool to see that, and a lot of women bought it from that post.
That's great. I mean, again, like you said, I can't relate to what you're experiencing, but I know, from hiking in the winter with ladies that it becomes a much bigger process for them than it is for us. So we are fortunate in that, and I feel bad for all of you out there.
And it was, and it's private too, because you don't expose yourself.
Of course.
You're saying there was this one moment, I think it was on Allen when I was doing it, and a guy passed me, and he was really confused. He was looking at the action. He's like, "What is she doing?"
Sure. You're not expecting to see that in the dead of winter, in particular, as well. I suppose I could see how that might surprise a person, but also with Allen's where the Thunderbox is. So even during the summer, you can walk up on someone utilizing the Thunderbox, and it could be a little confusing when you're not expecting fighting it. Yes,
it was way in the deep of the winter. But and then I had more serious lessons, right? They had to do with nutrition. They had to do with Allen. They had to do with hypothermia.
Sure.
And I got a lot of engagement from that one too.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're from Brazil. You've told me you don't like the cold. I remember when we were talking before the winter, you were like, 40 degrees, 30 degrees is cold. And I remember thinking to myself, Liz, I don't know if you're going to be able to hike in the winter if that's cold for you. But then there you are, crushing high peaks.
I would have agreed with you.
Yeah, snowshoes on. You're just out in the high peaks in the dead of winter, just crushing mountains. So you couldn't say goodbye to the mountains for 6 months. You had to keep going, and that's what makes your journey exciting too.
Yeah, I was with everybody when that first snow fell. I'm like, that's it. I'm out. I'm not doing it. And then I joined the Aspiring Winter 46ers group just because I thought they were crazy, and I wanted to watch crazy. I mean, I didn't just be a fly on the wall and watch these insane people talk, because why would someone do that? It's too dangerous. It's too crazy. And then I posted a question: why do you even bother doing this? Can someone explain to me why? And the answers were fascinating. That what really lured me in. I have bad knees, so at the end I do the knee braces once in a while. I take my Advil when I'm done, and especially downhill, that doesn't help my knees. But so I became fascinated with this notion that in this your knees don't hurt. Mm-hmm. I'm like, then I discovered glissading, butt sliding. I'm like, but what? You can just slide all the way down? No. And that was what did it for me. I saw the video. I'm like, no, I have to do that. That just looks too crazy. And then there is the techniques with how to keep yourself warm, like properly layering. There's a huge difference. You can wear the same amount of clothes, but if you don't do it correctly, and if it's not the right kind of clothes, it's a whole completely different experience. So I pretty much had to buy completely new base layers. My layers were all wrong. Everything I was doing was all wrong. I had caught